Hello YouTube. Today is going to be a review on a fragrance I have held off quite a while to review, honestly. As soon as I got it in, I was extremely excited. I've been wearing it at least once a week ever since I got it. And I absolutely love it. I don't mean to spoil the review, but I absolutely love it, honestly. I think it's one of the greatest, I'm not going to say it like that, but it's definitely the best release of 2022. I'm not going to sound like a butt kiss. I'm not going to sound like that I'm doing this positive review because Eugene is a friend or to try to help him out, or I'm not affiliated with him in any way. I wasn't sent a bottle. You can ask Eugene. I wasn't sent a bottle. I didn't expect to be sent a bottle. I could honestly, care less if someone sends me a bottle or not. It doesn't affect my viewing of the person or the viewing of the fragrance itself. Now, this review is going to be a little bit controversial. Just going to say that up front. So if you don't like controversy, you can just easily get off of this right now. I'm no stranger to controversy. I feel like I'm mature enough and man enough to handle controversy in a mature and sophisticated and nice way. And there's a lot of people that are reviewing this fragrance, or that has reviewed this fragrance, as soon as it came out, and they did a full-fledged review on it. As soon as they got it in, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not talking about Rudy. I think Rudy had one of the first reviews up, but Rudy got his bottle early, so he had already been wearing it, and I was already able to form an opinion on it. But some people are just getting it in and just making a review on it because it's a new fragrance from a YouTuber that's using great quality ingredients, a great quality brand, so on and so forth. And what I think is, what really pisses me off, I'm just going to be freaking honest with you all, is Fragrantica. I hate Fragrantica. If I had the money, I would get the lawyers to get Fragrantica taken down. Fragrantica does not need to be up. I hate Fragrantica. They don't even put the dang right notes on the fragrance. They let anyone in the world, whether it's a fake account, a bot account, whether the makers of Fragrantica review a fragrance, and they give a positive review on their page, but then they'll make these little no name, no review accounts that'll do a review on a fragrance and give it a negative impression because that's how they are. And Fragrantica, they give positive reviews out. If you pay them, they push fragrances for money. They're shills. I have no respect for Miguel Matas or any of the people there. I know that there are some people that I do come in contact with that do have stuff to do with Fragrantica, and I'm not talking about you guys. If you get offended by this, I'm more than likely talking about you. That's the way I look at it. If you have a guilty conscience and you feel like that I'm talking about you, then I'm more than likely talking about you. And it just really freaking pisses me off because there's people on there that's saying stuff about this fragrance that first of all, doesn't even make sense. Second of all, it doesn't smell that way. Third of all, you're not even using common sense at all and understanding what Eugene is trying to convey here. You're literally just forming an opinion off of a notes list, and you probably haven't even smelled it in the first place. Second off, if it is someone who has an unmatured nose, who does not know a lot about fragrances, and they see this fragrance, they buy it, and they smell it, and they really don't know where it comes from, and they're used to wearing Sauvage all day or, Aqua de Joe all day. And then they review this and they don't really like it. I can understand. But, if your Fragrantica page is blank, you have no other comments, no other reviews, no other likes. You don't have any reference fragrances, like how when you go on Fragrantica, your fragrances you have, your top fragrances, so on and so forth. And basically, you're just a fake account because you don't like Eugene. That's really saying something about your character, I've said stuff about people in the past, but I have been able to back it up. People who are who rip people off when they sell fragrances, who say, oh, it has it's completely full, missing no sprays, and they send you a picture of the bottle when they first got it, and then when they send it to you, it's missing like 5 ml. Or they tell you it's going to be a certain price, and then a day or two later that they up the price like $20 because they saw another one sell on eBay for $20 more. Or shoot, I could go on and on and on and on, honestly, but it's really just a bunch of bull crap surrounding this fragrance because other people are jealous. Other people wish they could do what Eugene is doing, and a lot of people get mad when someone does something theirself, when they fund something theirself, when they go out of their way. Just like all the time, I've heard people say, well, it must be nice. It must be nice. It is nice to get off your butt every day and go to work and do what you want to do. Speaking of that, I really don't want to go to work today. But nonetheless, let me dive into this fragrance. La Douleur, Exquise by Les Abstraits. And yes, when I try to speak French and have a French accent, I talk really low. That way that people don't realize, how bad my French is. This is 100 ml for $240. And there was a freaking thing on Fragrantica that was saying, well, this is a knockoff brand of Les Indemodables. They're trying to copy Les Indemodables. And the price is the same for $240. That's so freaking stupid. You know why? Because this is 100 ml for $240. It's not 50 ml for $240. This is 100 ml for $240. So you're getting twice the juice for the same price, with the same quality ingredients, the same amount. Honestly, I think that Eugene is losing money on this fragrance because of the high-quality naturals, because of the high-quality synthetics, because of how that Antoine Lee has blended this together masterfully to give an effect of it being very light and effervescent on the skin, but also project really well and last really, really long. And yes, it does pay homage to some of the classics, but it doesn't smell like any of the classics at all. It's not similar to any of the classics. You smell this fragrance and you would think that it's a vintage from the 1920s, and it doesn't smell old or dated at all. You would figure it would be a vintage from like Hermes or Balenciaga or Guerlain or Chanel, or not even Dior, because Dior probably could never do something this good. And then, Eugene has this classic style bottle. And Eugene has always been one about the caps. He loves magnetic caps, but he hates when they just, don't work. This is a great magnetic cap. The bottle feels good in your hand. It's nice. It has a borderline Frederic Malle vibe, kind of a Chanel vibe to it as well. Maybe a little bit of Dior vibe, and I love that. The sprayer is great. Really wide, really direct. But most importantly, what do I smell in this fragrance? I'm going to be upfront and honest. It does not smell like Portrait of a Lady. There are some people on Fragrantica saying this is a Portrait of the Lady clone, and those people, their nose is broken. They're ignorant. And the reason why I say that is, and I wouldn't call them ignorant, rather than they said that this smells like a cheap version of Portrait of a Lady. That this isn't what they were expecting. It's not a good fragrance at all. It smells like a clone, and that's the only reason why I call them an idiot, because it goes back to the thought that I think that 99% of those negative reviews on Fragrantica about this fragrance are only on there because they don't like Eugene. That's my thoughts. They just don't like Eugene. But anyways, it doesn't smell like Portrait of a Lady. And the more and more I smell it, it doesn't smell like Féminine Dubois. It doesn't smell like Chypre Palatin. It doesn't smell like Shalimar Mitsuko, number 22. It doesn't smell like number 19 at all anyway. It doesn't smell like 31 Rue Cambon. Even though I can kind of see how that they could be very, very, very distant cousins. Very distant cousins. Almost like that, you could marry that cousin, but kind of wouldn't, because it's kind of frowned upon, regardless of the distance. Anyways, the top notes: Bulgarian Rose and Turkish Rose Absolute. The way it's listed on the site, I'm not sure if that is Bulgarian Rose Absolute and Turkish Rose Absolute, or just Bulgarian Rose, and then it's Turkish Rose Absolute. So I'm not really sure on that. Iris Pallida. I'm not really sure. I know usually two L's together make a Y sound. But anyways, frankincense, heart, clove, cumin, saffron. I'll get to that here in a minute. Base, castoreum absolute, patchouli, ecca, I don't know, Atlas cedar, Spanish labdanum, apopanax, and myrrh. Now, how does this fragrance come across on skin? Starts out very nice. That rose is there. That rose is apparent. I think this has more Bulgarian rose in it than it does Turkish rose absolute, because it doesn't necessarily have that absolute of a rose smell, because sometimes rose absolute doesn't actually even smell like a rose, even though it still smells like a rose, if that makes sense. But you really get the rose up top. You really do. And then I'll get to the other note that I think that this is 90% of, honestly. But you get that not really smoky, but that resinous kind of crackle of the apopanax and the frankincense all throughout the fragrance. It's like when you burn something and it's not the charred smell of the thing you're burning, and it's not the smoke smell, but it's the thought of that little pop and crackle that can kind of happen. That's what I get, honestly. When I first smelled this, I was surprised to see that there was no ambergris in this, because it really, I think that it gives off somewhat of an ambergris vibe all throughout the fragrance. And then the clove is there. The clove is never more than just to add a spice to it. The clove is never there more than just to add a spice. This is not the clove that you'll get in... crap, my mind went blank. My mind went blank. There's a fragrance that has clove in it that I wanted to mention, but... the clove is never here to be more than just an added spice. It is not clovey. It is not any of the really any of the extra things of clove. It is simply just there. The cumin, I'll get to that in a minute. The cumin to me is pretty strong in this, and I really like it. I really prefer the cumin, and the saffron in this is it's not strong, but it's there. It honestly is there all throughout the fragrance. From the time I spray it on till the time I wash it off, the cumin is there. It's not loud, it's not proud, but it is present. Castoreum absolute, this is another note that is there, but it's used as really a supporting note, I think, when it gets to the dry down. And even right now it has that castoreum, that old room castoreum smell, that somewhat musky smell, somewhat musty. It's there. An old dusty room with a lot of books. That's what I kind of get out of castoreum. Patchouli. The patchouli in this is extracted, and I think maybe distilled. I'm not really sure how they do it with patchouli. With stainless steel, if I remember correctly. So this doesn't have the characteristics of a lot of patchouli fragrances to be somewhat ambery or chocolatey or any of those extra added things. But it really isn't a green patchouli. It's not a brown patchouli. It's not a black patchouli. It's honestly, if this makes sense, it's a white patchouli to me. It's very clean. It's very clear. But it has the patchouli facets. It has the patchouli-esque vibes to it, but without all the extra heaviness. Cedar, the cedar is here. It's prominent, but it's not that classic dirty dog lot, doghouse, cedar chips at all. The apopanax and the myrrh is here. The apopanax, the myrrh, and the frankincense really work together. This is not a Middle Eastern scent, but when I first read the frankincense, apopanax, and myrrh, I thought that this was going to go in a Middle Eastern way, but it's really not. It's really not. Like I said, it's there just to be resinous, just to add some warmth to it. And it almost, like I said, it gives like a crackle. It gives like almost a little fizz off the skin, you know? And the note that I really held off on is iris. To me, this is an iris bomb. If Eugene was to tell me that this is a 90% iris fragrance, I would 100% believe him. This has every facet of iris in it that I have ever smelt. I know a lot of people say that, you know, synthetic iris is the lipstick thing, but I get lipstick in here. I get iris from the roots to the stem to the flat to the little branches breaking off on the little flower, to all the way up to the flower itself, to the time the flower is planted, to the time that it dies. I get iris I get iris all throughout the week, twice on Sunday, when your mom's here, when your mom's not here. I get iris all the time in this fragrance. This does not smell like Portrait of a Lady. This does not smell like any of the things that people are comparing it to. It does not smell like Number 5. It does not smell like Cocoa. Even though there is that iris in there, the smell's completely different from that. This smells like a completely different fragrance. You know, a lot of people, Eugene wanted this to impact people in an emotional way. And to be honest, I don't really know if it impacts me in a emotional way. I think that it really impacts me in an emotional way because I've known Eugene for like 7 years. I've been watching his YouTube channel, commenting, messaging him for like 7 years now. And I want to answer that. For like 7 years now. And yeah, I think that is what emotionally impacts me, because I've known him for so long. I've known him and Crystal for so long that it's almost like I have watched him become full circle from his first review on, I think his first review was either a Killian or Douleur Leather Oud. I'm not really sure which one it was. But all the way from the bad video quality to Maria and her friends smelling Interlude and Epic Man, to him eating the pie, to his top 10 most hated fragrance reviewers, to the Sacco Shot videos, to the Frederick Mall videos, to the everything in between, every controversial video, every great video that made me laugh, that made me smile, that really helped me get to where I am today. I think this fragrance is really watching Eugene come full circle. And I love it. I do. A lot of people, like I said, are comparing this to other fragrances. Really, if I could say anything about this fragrance, I think it would smell like an Hermes. Honestly, I think that this is closer to an Hermes fragrance than it is a Chanel, than it is a Frederick Mall, than it is another Les Indemodables. That's what I honestly think. Gorgeous stuff. It really is. It's a pretty perfume. It is pretty. I feel like I haven't done this fragrance justice with this video, but that's what I gotta say. To me, this is a huge iris bomb of a fragrance. Yes, there is a lot of rose in here. You get that little fizz and crackle off the skin from the frankincense, the apopanax, and the myrrh. You get the patchouli. This is a fragrance. You get every single note that is listed. You get what you pay for. And that cumin is in there. It's not a body odor cumin. It is a spicy cumin. And it can get to the slight point of BO, but then when you think that BO is coming up, that saffron hits it, or something in it brings it back and tones it down. But just enough to kind of get you a little hot and heavy, if you know what I mean. So this is my 20-minute video. Hope everyone enjoyed. Have a great day.